Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers seek help from a Syrian doctor to provide food for refugee families. Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter receives medical supplies to be distributed to local hospitals. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Maggie Tsai. Thank you for joining us. As Jordanian government closed roads for various cities, Tzu Chi's regular food distribution in the refugee camp could not be held. Worried about refugees' food shortage crisis, Tzu Chi contacted a Syrian doctor to assist in the food distributions.
In Jordan, the refugee camp on the border with Syria used to have a wind speed of 178 kilometers per hour. Recently, a sudden and a strong sandstorm caused the government to close the highway. Therefore, Tzu Chi's original distribution plan could only be stopped.
They have no income from November to the end of April, so they usually go to Jordan Valley to do odd jobs. But now, because of the epidemic, they cannot go to the valley to work, so they have lost their source of income.
The Syrian refugees who had a hard time in their lives faced an even worse situation when epidemic occurred. Tzu Chi volunteers in Amman were unable to provide assistance across the region because of the tight epidemic prevention. Fortunately, Tzu Chi volunteers contact a local Syrian doctor, Atta, who assists in the purchase and distribution of the supplies.
The situation now Jordan passing through because of coronavirus, the situation of locking down, and there is a difficulty for poor families from far destination to come out and get the necessary elements. And thanks for Tzu Chi that allowed me to participate in this opportunity.
The items delivered by volunteers, including food, fresh fruits, and vegetables, can sustain each family for a month.
Our plan is to spend about $30 on dry food and $15 on vegetable and fruits. We don't want them to misuse the money donated by everyone because of greed. So we hope to maintain our consistent approach and use the money raised to buy the materials they need most.
Thanks to Dr. Atta for purchasing the food supplies and delivering them to our camp. With these foods, everyone will feel more at ease. We all thank Tzu Chi. No more words can express our most sincere gratitude.
Tzu Chi has assisted 33 families in Huacha district in Mafak, which can temporarily solve the food shortage of refugees before Ramadan. Volunteers can only wait for epidemic to alleviate before they can make further distribution.
As all nations continue to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, personal protection equipment are in great demand. Myanmar Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Chis have made 5,000 face shields in 4 days to donate to several medical institutions in Yangon. Though it's troubling, it can diminish great risk. This is the wish of everyone in the Tzu Chi office as they work joyfully.
We will disinfect first before the production. We wear gloves, masks, and hats to reduce virus transmission.
Myanmar Tzu Chi volunteers are making face shields for medical professionals as they follow strict prevention orders.
The
government's noticed that to ban group activities, there are many volunteers that wanted to come serve together. As long as they don't have much contact with the outside world and they are in good health, we will invite them to join.
Each of these volunteers have shouldered their family's worriness while they give love. The volunteers carry a grateful and respectful heart to share with their family about the job so they can gain their family's support while easing their anxiety.
My family don't want me to go out, so I took many pictures of what we made to let them know that this is doing good deeds to cultivate blessings. The hospitals are in need of these items. I report the amount we make to my husband every day, knowing that this can help a lot of people. That's how he will let me go out without worrying.
Volunteers use the small space on the face show surface to share words of wisdom.
These face shields are to be donated to medical teams. There are Jingsa aphorisms on it. This one says, kind intentions beget blessings, great vows beget great energy.
These will mainly be delivered to the Yangon Central Hospital, Bagel Hospital, and another local hospital.
Volunteers have successfully made 5,000 face shields in 4 days and launched their mission to support frontline medical staff. In the United States, San Francisco's Bay Area was among the first to be ordered to shelter in place in the state. And in San Jose, local Tzu Chi volunteers have made fabric masks to send to those who work outside, such as firefighters and other care facilities.
These are the empty streets of Northern California's San Jose as people are staying home. Tzu Chi volunteers with a medical mission in mind still venture out with precaution.
This includes 1,500 surgical masks and 500 KN95 masks, which have been gathered from donations from nursing schools and other organizations, which our Northern Branch's medical volunteers have been canvassing. And my mask is a combination of Taiwan sisters who have sent us the fabric and the sewing skills of our Northern California sisters. I'm so grateful for them.
These two homes have been turned into mask factories, with their children helping.
Alright, so the reason I'm helping my mom is that we can speed up the process, and that way we can get masks to firefighters or people who aren't in the medical industry but are still working outside and could, they could really use the masks.
As Californians are ordered to stay at home, the children spend it doing something meaningful.
Care center or a nursing home that's in Milpitas. And we also call the Milpitas Fire Department and the police station. So we estimated they'd all want about 20 to 30 masks.
Stores in California are closed, so fabric is tough to purchase. When the epidemic began, I thought about making fabric masks, but I have a limited supply, so I could only make so much.
Just when she was troubled, help came in the form of an angel. A friend found a fabric wholesaler and provided her with enough materials to make hundreds of masks, so she and others may continue to make masks for those who may need them.
At the end of January, Tzu Chi USA headquarters had begun preparing protective equipment before the COVID-19 spreads widely. 2 months later, Tzu Chi was able to provide help for local hospitals at this apex moment.
People are helping each other because of the COVID-19. Some people try to find help for other people, and some donate medical masks to Tzu Chi US headquarters.
We follow American laws, so we guarantee the quality of our products and control the standards of masks. And we donate the masks to medical professionals in hospitals. Therefore, we must find a professional, responsible, and experienced charity organization.
After COVID-19 happened, many people on the front line asked for help through the website in our community and Facebook, hoping everyone can donate some items. Many doctors said that they had to use the same mask repeatedly, and they could only get one mask a day. Some later said that theirs were worse because they brought their mask home and washed them and sanitized them. Then they used the same mask the next day, so they have been using the same mask for a week.
A Catholic community hospital in Orange County almost ran out of the protective equipment, but Tzu Chi steps in and helped.
We kept in contact with our medical mission and our U.S. headquarters, and finally they collected around 1,000 masks. It was extraordinary because a kind person donated 30,000 gloves yesterday. So the headquarters gave us 1,000 gloves. We could come today and donate 1,000 masks and 1,000 gloves to the hospital. When the medical team approached us, you could see how thankful they were.
Tzu Chi and the hospital belong to different religions, but they have the same wish that love will continue long after the epidemic is over.
In the Philippines, there have been more than 4,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 infection. Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter has purchased the supplies to donate to 22 local hospitals.
As the needed supplies from Guangzhou, China, finally arrive in the Philippines, the volunteers' anxious minds have been calmed.
The transportation of supplies was not easy. Back in January or February, we've been thinking about transporting the supplies, but we encountered many problems. There were the questions of where and how do we send supplies.
Tzu Chi Philippines Chapter has purchased epidemic prevention supplies from mainland China. In addition, people also made donations of supplies. After coordination, the large amount of supplies are exempt from customs duty.
Seeing the arrival of the supplies, we are very happy. This can help the Philippines fight the epidemic. I am also happy that so many people are willing to help us.
The boxes of supplies were piled up, almost reaching the ceiling. While organizing the supplies is a difficult job, the volunteers did it willingly.
We started sorting the supplies today according to the hospital's needs. We are distributing the supplies to 22 hospitals.
During the critical period, the volunteers provide the medical staff with needed supplies, hoping to protect them as they fight the epidemic.
The people living on Bohol Island in the Philippines mainly depend on tourism to maintain their livelihoods, but due to the recent epidemic, the income of the general public has been greatly reduced. Tzu Chi volunteers distribute rice and vegetables to each household so that they can maintain a nutritious diet.
The impact of the epidemic has greatly reduced the number of tourists. The seats that were originally used to carry passengers on the tricycles were now carrying rice and vegetables. All these were provided by Tzu Chi.
At the same time, Pangulo usab ako sa
I didn't expect Tzu Chi to give us a hand during this crisis. Thank you, volunteers, for your continuous care to our tricycle drivers.
This warm care was also delivered to the residents of troubled villages. Each household received 5 kilograms of rice and a whole box of vegetables, which was enough to serve in several meals.
Most of the people in our tribe are disadvantaged, so I want to especially thank Tzu Chi for not forgetting us this time.
Dili lang kami ang matabangan nga mga tribo diri sa ita.
Volunteers sent the food to each household one after another. Some people cooked the food as soon as they received it.
This is a great help to my family, especially because of the epidemic. We have no income. These food ingredients allow us to eat for 3 days.
The epidemic cannot stop the love. This care, in the form of food, makes people grow closer.
Singapore carries out a very severe social distance law from April 7 to May 4th. Except for the necessary businesses, schools and other workplaces are closed. The National Environment Agency invited Tzu Chi volunteers to promote the policy at every hot meal center so the citizens can protect themselves.
We've decided to carry out stricter measures to avoid contacts between people.
Singapore is carrying out stricter measures to stop COVID-19. Except for the necessary service sectors, all other businesses are closed. People are required to work at home and the students study online in order to reduce the risk of group infection.
Here's the pamphlet in 4 languages. We recommend them to keep a 1-meter distance when waiting in line.
Days before the new policy come into effect, the National Environment Agency of Singapore invited Tzu Chi volunteers to promote this policy at food courts.
Starting from Tuesday, we cannot eat out. Understood? If you want to take out the food, please bring your own containers.
I brought my own container so I can save the earth especially.
I always encourage my customers to use their containers. This policy will come into effect on Tuesday, will last for a month. If everyone takes out his order like this, it will greatly harm the earth, and that makes me quite worried. We can do our part to help.
The policy came rather suddenly, so the public vent their frustrations to the volunteers.
We listened to them so they could vent their emotions from the past few days. We simply offered them courage to comfort their minds.
This high level of protection can keep the public safe from the virus.
Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital's Director of Department of Infectious Disease, Peng Mingye, is also the Director of the Infection Control Center. He has 30 years of experience combating infectious diseases and has been through battles with SARS, MERS, and dengue fever. Let's meet him as he fights in the current COVID-19 pandemic.
In December 2019, when Wuhan started to have cases of COVID-19, Peng Mingye, who has nearly 30 years of experience in treating infectious diseases, knew that the situation could become dire.
COVID-19 can effectively spread among humans. Its infectiousness is even worse than SARS.
When SARS struck 17 years ago, Peng was the designated ward director of Tri-Service General Hospital. He did not imagine that the current battle against COVID-19 would come so soon. As the director of Infection Control Center with abundant professional experience, he did not hesitate to lead his colleagues to respond to the epidemic.
For doctors treating infectious diseases, every major incident comes as a test and challenge. We need to take responding measures, including handling the cases when the patients are admitted.
Peng also cares for suspected COVID-19 patients. Before 7 o'clock in the morning, he's already following the most current situation at the hospital.
这个病房先看一下，那看看整个的病人的变化。 他有被通报，所以说那就是还是被临床医师所怀疑了。
At about 8 o'clock, Peng is ready to attend a daily hospital epidemic prevention meeting. Besides reporting on the test results of the suspected patients and treatment conditions, he also answers people's questions regarding infection control.
现在一个concern就是那个裁剪的过程要怎么弄？他肺炎厉害，他不发手。
我会建议还是请急诊，还是。 碰到肺炎，还是建议跟胸腔科或感染科的医生 through 一下。
As COVID-19 spreads globally, suspected and confirmed cases in Taiwan are also escalating. Peng offers advice and feels responsible.
Hospitals are the most important place for people to prevent the spread of the virus. Hospitals must hold on.
In our next report, our DaAi reporter visit animal protection organizations to see how they are taking in abandoned pets that would otherwise be wandering on the streets.
记者现在所在的位置是在基隆七堵的一个山区，在这边有一个民间团体，它收容了
I'm now at a civil organization in the mountains of Chidu, Keelung. The place has taken in 16 large dogs who were rescued from the breeding centers or animal shelters. Here we can see a Molossus. At the side there's an excited St. Bernard. Then there's a Caucasian Shepherd dog.
然后还有一只是高加索犬。
Since he gets dirty easily and is difficult to be cared for, Cabbage has been returned after being adopted. Besides having dried eyes and cataracts, our Tzu Chi also has genetic problems.
3/4 of the dogs at our association are more than 10 years old. As you can see, they move their hips widely. It is mostly because these big dogs have weight problems and inbreeding, leading to hip joint problems.
The female dog was breed dog at the breeding center, so she gave birth to several babies in a year. Back then, the breeding center did not allow her to receive postpartum rest, so she lost calcium ions. As a result, her spine curves inward. Also, because of the same reason, she cannot give birth anymore, and people abandon her.
In Taiwan, more than 10 years ago, many people adopted golden retrievers and Labrador retrievers because they look very cute and have gentle temperament. However, many dog owners did not foresee that after several years, these dogs would develop genetic illnesses or even cancer. Here we can see 3 dogs that have all become paralyzed because of genetic illnesses.
To prevent bed sores, we need to flip their bodies once every 2 to 3 hours. In addition, we need to process their waste matter. We will use some equipment such as a mat so they won't develop bed sores.
In this area for the seriously ill dogs, the volunteers also massage the dogs. This dog is paralyzed because he has a brain tumor.
黄金它是肿瘤的好发族群，10只黄金有8只大概是死于癌症，这是基因问题。以繁殖的角度来讲，其实它们并不是一个很好的品种。
Due to large amount of breeding, animal protection organizations must take in these abandoned animals.
This dog is partially paralyzed. That means if you give him some support, he can stand on his own. Our indoor floor is more slippery, so we need to bring them outside to go to the restroom. We support him a bit, and then he can get up.
At animal hospitals, it is common to see animals who develop genetic illnesses because of breeding.
Breed dogs and cats have a lot of genetic illnesses. For large dogs like golden retrievers, their hip joints could develop problems. They even have genes for cancer. Meanwhile, the Maltese, we often see that he has heart problems and knee joint problems.
Peking geese or French bulldog develop respiratory and heart problems easily. Persian cats could develop polycystic kidney disease. Then Scottish fold will easily develop joint problems.
Even if the pet seller has given you a certificate, it cannot prove that the pet does not have gene illnesses. At this moment, we cannot see if they have contagious diseases. We can only say that they looked healthy now. We cannot tell if they have genes, illnesses, or contagious diseases.
If the pet falls ill in the future, the medical cost is usually more than $300. When many people adopt golden retrievers, they did not consider whether their living space is suitable or if they are financially able to raise them.
No living being's genes are perfect. You cannot buy lives. If you adopt a dog, it can accompany you for your entire life. In fact, I don't think it is necessary to buy a dog.
Life is priceless. Before buying breed pets, have you thought about that a pet depends on you? Are you ready to accompany him for his entire life?
Tzu Chi volunteers provided 2 meals a week to Yangling hospitals to give thanks to medical teams. Take a look and see you next time.